I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host Shalom Klein has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
And indeed, we are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship in business. We talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I am your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you could always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week. In fact, the first show of a brand new year. We've got a lot of content information you will not want to miss. So let's kick it off. I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by serial entrepreneur Colton, who joins us here on the program. Colton, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Hey, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
It's super exciting to have you. So Colton, you are an entrepreneur, and we are going to talk about your entrepreneurial endeavors, but I like to get to know the person behind the microphone. So if you don't mind, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, it's nice to hear someone say serial entrepreneur. But I guess I started my first business when I was a kid. We ran the neighborhood lawn mowing business. Built a bit of a monopoly there, and then went off to college and started a t-shirt business, printing t-shirts for all the organizations around campus, and expanded to actually 11 college campuses in our 4 years. And then on that, after we graduated, we jumped out into the real world, and for some reason, I don't know why, I felt the need to go get what people called a real job, and I went to work for Citigroup doing network engineering for high frequency traders. Quickly realized that was not for me, and immediately jumped into the software engineering world and got my start with different startups around the DFW and Austin area. And then, on that journey, when you get into software engineering, and if you have that entrepreneurial mindset, it's just very natural to just build lots of little things. So we probably started a handful of different companies, my co-founder and I, and then the most recent one, which is Route Fusion, which is our pride and joy. We started about 3 years ago, and it's off to the races. It's been
awesome.
It's been quite a journey so far.
That's awesome. Well, Colton, we're going to talk more about Route Fusion, which sounds like it has been an incredible journey in the fintech world. So we'll talk some more about that. But what I found really fascinating, and we were just talking before coming on the air, is that you play semi-professional volleyball as a way to blow off steam, but it actually has been part of, call it a team building exercise as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my co-founder and I are just both really competitive people. Played college sports and whatnot, and we found when we became what we called no paycheck people. Or unemployed, we needed a sport to play that wasn't golf, that was what we called a poor man's sport, and sand volleyball was that. And we started out playing, and we weren't very good, and that really upset us. So we hired a coach that was a local pro, and we dedicated a lot of time in the mornings or in the evenings to training and getting better. And it was it really was a great way to blow off steam and just build those competitive juices. And it kind of blossomed to where, we were playing against some of the top players in the country, self-proclaimed semi-professional, but it was, it's a ton of fun. And we've made a lot of really great friends and contacts through it.
And that's super important in business for both for you and your co-founder. So you and your co-founder of Route Fusion, which, as we said, fintech, and you focus on international bank-to-bank payments API. So let's talk about how you got into that and what problem you are seeking to solve.
Yeah. So, this will be a bit of a futuristic viewpoint of the world. But if you guys are familiar with this trend of neobanks, that's a technology company that is creating a new age bank that would compete against people like Chase or Bank of America or something along those lines. It's all digital. It's all through your phone. We originally started out building one of those, and our customer base had continually asked us for cross-border international payments. And so when we sought out to add that to the application, we realized it was a really age-old industry with bank-like providers that were, had been in business for 30 plus years. And I think the joke is they still had fax machines in the office. Maybe not all of them, but a good portion of them did. And we saw it as an opportunity to innovate in a space that seems like it hadn't been innovated in quite some time. And we were seeing this trend of companies wanting to embed cross-border payments into their application. And what I mean by that is we were seeing invoicing companies or payroll companies or shipping and logistics companies wanting to let their customers send international payments through their web application. So logging into QuickBooks and paying an invoice for goods that you're buying from China and doing that through their web interface rather than going into the bank and doing it at the bank. And so we saw it as this really interesting opportunity, and we kind of just dove headfirst in because there's no one solving that problem.
And in the process, and again, I'm chatting with Colton Steele, the founder of Route Fusion, who is on the side a competitive volleyball player. But Colton, you are in a really complex both technological space regarding the API, but also in regards to compliance and regulation. Yeah. So how did you guys get up to speed on all of that in a whole new world?
Yeah, you're the first person to know this, and I feel like it's okay to say it now, but we had to figure out every single way we could to network in every possible scenario in the banking and compliance world. Remember, we're two software engineers. We play volleyball during the mornings or during the week, shirts off. We have no idea how this industry truly works. And so we got fortunate. There was a banking conference that came to town that we couldn't afford to go to, banking and compliance and payments. And so I told my co-founder, I was like, look, we have to get into this. I don't know how we're going to do it, but there's going to be a lot of great contacts here, and we're going to learn a lot. So I don't know, the ethical side of it, but we basically walked in. I saw a guy's name tag, and I said, "Okay, that's his name." I walked up and said, "I lost my pass." They printed me a pass, and then I went to the conference, and I met with every bank and payments company, and I asked them. I had a journal of questions that I was like, "How do these things work?" And I just asked so many people all these crazy questions. And we walked out of it, and I was like, holy cow, how did we just pull this off?
Oh, my goodness. So what does 2021 look like for Route Fusion?
Man, it is, it's exciting. We're releasing a lot of what we would call self-serve features. So making it easier for companies to copy and paste code into their website and offer cross-border payments to their customer base. As I'm sure you're aware, the world is very global, and COVID-19 has kind of shredded any normalcy that we're accustomed to. And the one thing that we're continuing to hear nonstop from all corners of the world is we need to offer cross-border payments to our customers. Everybody wants to send payments all over the world. And so we're releasing some very innovative and futuristic software to
true innovation here on Get Down to Business. Thank you for sharing that, and I'm just going to laugh all day about that story. Totally amazing. Chatting with Colton Seal. Colton, founder of Route Fusion. How can people learn more about all of your innovation and your entrepreneurial story?
Yeah, feel free to find me on Twitter. I'm at Colton Seal, or connect with me on LinkedIn. I love to give back to the community and help people in any way that I possibly can. So
I appreciate you sharing your story with all of our listeners, the first show of 2021. So thank you very, very much for joining us on the air. We look forward to following your story over the coming months and years. So best of luck to you. You are listening to the What's Business, Jobs, and Entrepreneurship. You're listening to Get Down to Business. We'll be back in just a quick moment. Get to my website, shalomklein.com, to download podcasts from the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Be sure to click subscribe, rate, and review. We'll be right back.